Mission Impossible Fallout is on the way, and I'm super excited for that movie, so this is the perfect time to go back and take a look at Rogue Nation and dig deep into that movie. Are you excited for Fallout? Let's talk about it in the comments. Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin, and this is my theological analysis for Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. I am super excited for Mission Impossible Fallout. Reason number one, I really do like this franchise, so I hope this movie's good just because I like this franchise and I want it to continue to be really, really good. The other reason that I want it to be really good, and this is where the stakes are really high for me, this is the movie where they wouldn't let Henry Cavill shave off his mustache, so we got Mustache Gate and Justice League. So I'm just really hoping it's worth it. That's what I'm hoping. But in my excitement for Fallout, I'm going back into Rogue Nation, which was a really solid and good movie. I love the action. I love the characters. It's just a really fun movie. But the other thing I love about theological analyses is it's the opportunity to go back into something that I find fun and really like anyway, and then digging deep into it and finding another layer of really good stuff. So let's dive into that.
The Syndicate is real. A rogue nation trained to do what we do.
An anti-IMF.
Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, at its core, it's about that feeling of being lost, that feeling of being cast aside and feeling alone and confused and what do I do from here and where do I go from here? So when you take a look at Ethan Hunt in this movie, he is on the most dangerous mission of his career, and he's trying to figure out who the Syndicate is. And then he gets captured by the Syndicate right at the beginning, when he needs IMF the most, when he needs his country the most. That's when the IMF dissolves and gets absorbed into the CIA, and then the CIA puts Ethan Hunt, who's just trying to do flippin' good, they put him at the top of their most wanted list. So right when he needed his country most, and right when he needed the IMF most, it's gone and it's not there. And now he's finding himself in a position he never thought he'd be in. He's lost and alone, but he does have this going for him. He has this sense of right and wrong, absolutely ingrained in his heart, like a compass pointing true north. And it gives him that direction and that guidance and that purpose, and it gives him the strength to head in that direction. Then on the other side of this, you have Solomon Lane. I mean, the Syndicate was created here by this guy, Attlee. The British government rejected it outright. Attlee wanted to keep it going, and then it was hijacked by Lane. So Lane betrayed the betrayer, and then took the Syndicate and made it his own evil network that was full of resources. So you have Ethan Hunt, who is self-sacrificing and fighting for the greater good, and then you have Lane, who's sacrificing others for his own good. And now he's using the resources of the Syndicate and the power of the Syndicate to force the world to move the direction he wants it to move. In the midst of all of this, you have Elsa Faust. And Faust is, I just feel so bad for this character because her handler, Attlee, sends her into the Syndicate under deep cover to prove that they exist so that they could bring the Syndicate down. That's her vision. I'm going to prove this place exists, and I'm taking this great evil down. Only to find that her handler, Attlee, had a hand in creating this, and it was his fault that it's fallen into the hands of Lane, so he's just trying to cover his tracks, and now that they have proof, he's deleting that proof, and he's throwing her to the wolves to tie up his loose ends. Boom, done, hands clean for Attlee, but that leaves Faust disavowed and betrayed by her country, betrayed by her handler, betrayed by everything she held dear in her heart, and now sitting here in a state of utter confusion. There's a scene in this movie where she's face to face with Ethan, and she's asking him to go with her on a train, to go anywhere and to be anybody. Because she says there will be other people like you and me to fight the good fight. They will come up in our place. Let's just get out of here. She even says this.
Lane, Attlee, your government, my government, they're all the same. We only think we're fighting for the right side because that's what we choose to believe.
In other words, now the idea of absolute truth, the idea of absolute good is far from her because she feels betrayed by everything and everyone. And Ethan is her only friend, so she just wants to run away with her only friend and get away from all this mass disillusionment and confusion. I think every single one of those positions is a position that could be related to. The Lane position is just that position of, I'm angry at the world, so I'm going to force it to do what I want. The position of Faust is, where's God? Where is God in all of this? Where's my friends in all of this? I'm alone. I am completely and utterly alone. And I think we can all relate to that. And Ethan Hunt, to me, is this picture of following the Holy Spirit, even in the darkest, hardest, most confusing times of life. And a lot of things could throw us into those positions in life that we never thought we'd be there. It could be an unexpected layoff, or a firing, or addictions take us south all of a sudden, or a divorce, a breakup. It could be one of a million things that hurt us and put us in a position we never, ever thought we'd be. But suddenly, we're here. Where was God in the midst of all of that? Where were my friends in the midst of all of that? I am now completely and utterly alone, disillusioned by what is really good then, and what is really evil then. Ethan represents that person with the Holy Spirit in them, and that Holy Spirit guiding into all truth. See, Ethan had that true north, and he kept fighting for what was right. Even when he was tempted to run away with Faust, he knew what the right thing to do was. And so he resisted that temptation to do what was right and to do what was good for the greater good because of that true north. And that's what the Holy Spirit does. In those times where things are most confusing and most clouding, the Holy Spirit guides us into all truth. But so often we're in that position where Faust is, and we just really wonder, well, where's God? Why didn't he prevent this? Where was he in the midst of this? Why am I even here? Well, even Elijah, one of the biggest prophets in the Bible, found himself in that position. This dude called fire down from heaven in view of tons of people. Huge miracle, major high. Evil queen says, oh, I'm going to kill you dead. And he runs with his tail between his legs. And you can bet while he's out there in the wilderness running for his life, he's feeling down. He's feeling lost. He's feeling confused. He had one of the greatest victories, and now he's running for his life. Probably feeling betrayed by everyone. And then when God goes to speak to him, God shows him this great fire, but God's not in it. God shows him this huge whirlwind, but God's not in it. Huge earthquake, but God's not in it. So in other words, sometimes we're running out there and we're saying, where's God? And we're looking for these burning bushes. We're looking for these magnificent signs. But when God came to Elijah, he came to Elijah in the whisper. Not in those huge, magnificent signs. He came to Elijah in a gentle whisper. The kind of intimate whisper that causes you to lean in and get closer to the person in order to hear it. Sometimes we feel alone, but what did God teach Elijah? I'm still here, and I still have a purpose for you. Lean into the whisper and hear it. Hey, you're not the only prophet left. There's this many prophets over here who have not bowed their knee. Hey, you don't know what to do next? Go anoint this guy to be a prophet in your place when you're done, and then go anoint this person over here to be king. In other words, God was giving this guy a plan. And this guy was getting this plan as he was leaning into that gentle whisper. So often, we just keep looking for God in the burning bush. We keep looking for God in some mighty sign, in some mighty wonder, looking to the sky, waiting for God to show forth some mighty thing to, prove to us that he's here. But he's in the whisper. And to hear the whisper, we have to get quiet ourselves, even in those moments of the most fear, and listen for that whisper. The Holy Spirit is there. And when we say, Jesus, come into my life, the Holy Spirit does come into our life, and he will teach us all truth, and he will guide us into all truth. When Faust felt truly lost, she had a close friend in Ethan, and his conviction, it encouraged her, and it ended up giving her some direction. Do you feel lost? Find people that have direction. Find people that have conviction. Find those people. And let them encourage you and build you up. Even Ethan Hunt tried to do what he was doing alone. And he tried to reject Benji after Benji helped. He goes, no, I don't want you in any trouble. But Benji says, you can't do this alone. You need me.
You called me because you needed my help. And you still do. So I am staying. And that is all we are going to say about that.
God created us to be a body and to work together. We do need each other. And as we find those godly people who know God, who follow God, and we connect with them, it's amazing how God could even speak to us through them, and how that can even bring us guidance and shine some light in those dark places in our lives. Rogue Nation to me is a picture of those moments where we find ourselves in those places we didn't expect, where we find ourselves hurt, lost, alone, and confused. But it's in those moments where we need that true north. Ethan had that true north, and it guided him through. When we have the Holy Spirit, he teaches us truth, and he guides us through the darkness to the purposes that he has for our lives. We just have to lean in close to him and listen for his gentle whisper. When you watch Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, what do you think and what do you see in this movie? Also, Mission Impossible Fallout. Are you excited for it? Yes or no? Do you think it'll be worth it that they didn't let Henry Cavill shave his mustache? Oh, it better be worth it, man. Oh, that better be worth it. Let me know what you think in the comments. And while you're there, hit the subscribe button to become a Durbanian. Hit the bell by the subscribe button so you're notified the next time I drop a theological analysis like this, or a movie review, or a ranking video, or anything else that I do here. Hey, if you like what I do here, and you've checked out my other videos and theological analyses and rankings, and you really, really like it, and you really want to get behind it even more, I have my Patreon page, and the link to that is in my description. There's different little levels of giving there, and some of those levels have some pretty cool rewards attached to them, so you could check that out. If not, that's totally cool. I'm just so excited that you're here to talk movies with me. I'm just letting you know, if you wanted to be a part of that on that deeper level, you could check that out on my Patreon page. I'm Durbin. Thanks for checking out Durbania.